Hello and welcome to the Local Music Revolution. I am your host, Ogre. Today, we talked to Daniel from the band Farooq out of Fresno, California. From the minute I saw the name of this band, I knew I had to get them on the podcast. When I saw the name, three things went through my mind, and they're in this order. The APA, Ron Simmons, and damn! So, naturally, I had to, because I am a curious soul. One of the first questions was, is the name related to the wrestler Farooq? I know the answer now because I did the interview. You, however, have to listen to the interview to find out. Along with that, we find out about Daniel's love for the crowds and how they perform for them. We do go into wrestling and talk about the Attitude Era because that's what we grew up with and that's what's awesome. And we talk about a whole lot more. So, without any further ado, let us get this started. This is Farooq, a hardcore band out of Fresno, California. And we're here with Daniel, vocalist for Farooq from Fresno, California. How you doing, man?
Yes, sir. I'm great, man. It's a nice morning. Weather's been good. Can't complain.
Yeah, man. I really enjoyed it last night here in Tulare. It was fairly windy. It was really good beer drinking weather, so I enjoyed that. So if you can, real fast, can you give us a rundown of the rest of the guys in your band, what they do, and possibly maybe who writes the songs?
Yeah, absolutely. Myself, I do the vocals, and I actually co-write a good amount of the songs, the older original songs mostly, but I write those with Philip Camacho. He's our lead guitar and backup vocalist. And also, Eric Martinez, our drummer, has a huge hand in a lot of our writing, if not actually being a part of the guitar writing process, because he also plays some guitar. His drums very much influence our guitars, or actually, like, a lot of what I do is, like, I just try to impress him with stuff. Like, my whole goal is to get him stoked on a song. I think he's a great musician. So, like, even if he has nothing to do with how the song sounds before it gets to him, he actually does, just because I want him to be a big part of it. And then he actually brought his cousin in to play bass for us. And, we've known him forever. His name's Brandon Rubio, and he's awesome. His dad is actually a legendary local DJ and musician named Mr. Melody. Nice. And he is just a solid dude who always seems to jump in right when we need him for everything, whether it's songwriting or touring. He's there. And then our second guitarist is Matt Olson, also another guy that just kind of gets in where he fits in and fills everything in always when we need it, you know?
Yeah, I got you, man. It's very hard to find people like that.
Oh, man, it was. And it took us, I think, about a year. Philip and I started the band in 2010, I want to say.
Okay.
And it was just us two writing music and recording it and tracking things. And we kind of brought people in gradually. And luckily, we didn't have to go through too many in order to get our final lineup.
Back in 2010, when you guys were writing, did you guys do all the instruments yourselves? Did you use drum loops? How did that process work? And did those songs actually make it to this your album that you put out in 2013?
Yes, actually, what me and Phil would do was email back and forth riffage. We just like kind of have a few riffs back and forth, and I arranged a couple of songs and played them on my own and recorded them here at home, which is actually where our album was recorded as well.
Nice.
I was at my house. Yeah. But I got on Fruity Loops, my little beat making program, and I found some good live drum loops and made like rough drum parts for them. and then just played everything. And then got it over to Philip, and Philip's a way better guitarist than me, so he made our songs good. I made our songs, he made them good.
That's fair.
And then the other ones, he would come to me. The rest of the songs, he would come to me with all of his awesome riffs, and I just help him arrange it and then kind of put a little bit of funk on them or whatever. Nice. Yeah, me and him put those together on our own with Fruity Loops. It was really fun.
So when you guys got Eric into the band, he learned the drum loops, and then you guys did you guys jam out when you would write the songs after that? How did the writing process change?
We wrote actually 6 songs and had them recorded with drums and bass and vocals before we even had a complete band. I wrote the drum loops with Eric in mind because he's my favorite drummer I ever was in a band with over the 10 years I've been doing this. Nice. Or actually, 15 now.
Wow.
And so, I'd been in bands with him in high school, and we've been friends since junior high. And he's got the best style. So I wrote with his style in mind, hoping to bring him, back. He hadn't drummed for 5 years or so when we got him.
Okay.
And he heard the songs and loved them and wanted to drum for him, which was great. But once we all got those 6 songs down, then after the fact we would jam. Phil and I always like doing stuff on our own and then bringing it to everybody because then it's more complete and we kind of just, we're able to just add dynamics to the songs instead of having to actually construct the song. It's better for time,
Yeah, I got you.
But we do have a few songs that were the result of jamming, Owned. I think you have that one to play later, right?
Yes, sir.
That one was Philip and Eric and I believe Matt or Brandon were all jamming one day when I wasn't there, and they just sent me a text message with an audio file of the song I put together, and it was, Phil had some riffs, and each of them had some riffs and ideas, and they all kind of put them together, and I was stoked.
That's awesome, man. That's really good to hear. It's really rare that everything clicks the way that you've been talking about, and I want to congratulate you because that's really cool.
Thank you, I appreciate it. It's cool. Each song has its own story that we can go into for years if you wanted to.
Yeah. All right. So album was called The Truth. It came out on April 13th, 2013. How did you guys get received? What was that like? Can you go into that?
Yeah. We got really great feedback. People, the best compliment I believe was people asking where we got it recorded because we actually did that in our homes. Phil decided to learn on his own, be an awesome engineer, and mic'd everything up and did his thing, and then I just did the special production stuff, the reverbs and echoes and 808s and all the crazy things. And so that was the biggest compliment is, wow, this sounds really good. Where did you get it done?
Yeah, I got you.
So we were stoked on that because that took forever to do. And, we made it's really difficult now to sell physical copies of anything, or actually selling music is just difficult in general. So, I mean, we sold our CDs that we got pressed, and, we had a lot of great feedback from people, but it was difficult to get them in people's hands. So we were discounting them and giving them away just because we want people to have our music more than anything.
Yeah.
But since we're not, backed by anybody financially, we're backed by ourselves. It's not always easy to give everything away when, you got to pay for gas to the next city and everything.
Well,
but we did get great feedback, and people love it, and we're stoked on it because people still like the songs from 2013.
Yeah, they actually sound really good, man. I was impressed myself. I didn't know that it was recorded at your house, so that's really cool. So, what led to the decision of recording that in your house? Was it just comfort, or was it the fact that studios are fairly expensive to work on?
It's money, man. We knew that it would be. Phil and myself already had equipment and some know-how on recording.
Okay.
And done previous things, so it was just making that step to the next level of quality. And Philip is the man. He's the dude, and he took it there, and he said, I'm gonna take care of the engineering and the mics and everything, and all you got to worry about is making this sound cool,
Yeah.
And I felt very fortunate because that's the stuff that I can't do is all the technical engineering. But he's a genius. Can't credit him enough. So we made that decision knowing that it was going to cost us hundreds of dollars each in order to get all 13 songs recorded and mixed and everything. Tracking alone took like almost 100 hours each track. All the tracking together, just recording. Yeah. That's not any of the effects or editing. So I could only imagine how much this thing would have costed. And all of us work full time and go to school, or go to school. So getting into a studio would have been ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, when you guys did,
who knows when this album would have come out if we didn't do it ourselves?
Yeah. So when you guys recorded this, did you just do it in your practice space during when you guys would have practiced? Or did you actually block out practice time and recording time and things like that?
There was no more practice time. We took a back seat from the shows. We stopped that for a while. I have a recording room in my house that's just all for music. And so we packed everybody into the room, and we did it one at a time. We did the drums first, and then once the drums were done, we took it step by step whenever people were available. I'd catch guys after work for a few hours here and there, and we just knocked it out bit by bit.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love that kind of culture because the way this podcast came about was the fact that I have a second bedroom in my apartment that's dedicated to music too. And
nice.
Yeah, I have everything to record a metal album. I'm actually 9 songs deep in my 3rd release in 3 years, I believe. And it's an amazing kind of freedom. So it's really cool to hear that you guys are doing that. So you were telling me before we started, you guys are going to be recording or are in the middle of recording your second album. How's that going?
It is a process. It's always a difficult process when everybody, unfortunately right now isn't our career. Like we have babies and rent and, stuff to pay for. So everybody's got work and school. So it's difficult, but the cool thing is we are done with the songs. They're written, and we're doing the pre-production now, setting up the click tracks. Our drummer is talented enough to have the awesome style he is and also be able to play to the click track. So we feel very fortunate to have him. And, our songs, which you'll hear, they do jump around a lot to different tempos and time signatures. So the pre-production alone is a task. Philip, being the man that he is making it happen. We're a couple weeks away from getting the drummer in here, maybe a month away, and getting his drums tracked here at my house. This time we're sending it out to be mixed and mastered.
Okay.
Fortunately, we do have a little bit of budget for that this time. But we're close, and the great thing is we're excited because we're so set on the songs that we're able to play a few new ones in our shows and kind of see how the crowd reacts and change them up here and there based on, crowd feel and all that. Because it's very important, the crowd.
Well, yeah, so, in your genre especially, I mean, hardcore is there's lots of movement in the crowd in metal, but hardcore, there's so much that is put into just the crowd being there, and
absolutely.
Yeah, it's really cool. I used to love debuting new songs in front of crowds that had never seen them before, because that right there, it really is a testament to where you're at in your music writing. Sometimes they flop, sometimes they're just incredible. And I was fortunate enough the last few bands that I've had that everybody just loved the music that I produced. So, yeah. So writing this album, how many songs you guys got?
12.
12 songs? Nice.
12 songs. However, they're longer than the old songs. So you may get 12 songs, but more total runtime for the songs.
Nice, nice.
Philip took it upon himself to write a lot of them on his own and set up the drums, and he did everything. He was sending us complete songs when we started, and we were just blown away. Like he just made it to the next level. He is amazing. So a lot of these Philip's creations, and they're a lot longer, and then he gave them to us, and then he was gracious enough to let us, have our input on them. So a good number of them are Philip, and then a couple of them are myself or both of us, putting our brains together and forming Voltron.
All right, man. Well,
really cool. Philip for president, man. Phil Camacho for president.
That's great to hear, man. That's it. I really love hearing the bands, are in love with their other counterparts, because
these guys are super talented.
Yeah, man. It makes for great chemistry, and it just shows, that other bands, or it shows other bands that you can have that. So the song "It's Going Down," can you give me a rundown of that song? Any nerdy things are way more
totally
interesting.
Well, let's nerd out then. Okay, the opening riff is something I wrote for a band that I was in probably 5 years prior to Farooq. That just didn't end up happening. I actually wrote that song in its entirety, which is why it's only like a minute and a half or something, because I don't have the attention span to write anything longer than that. I sent it to Phil. He loved it, and I was excited because anything that I could make that he liked, it tells me I'm doing okay. It was the first song that my drummer Eric heard when I was hanging out with him, and he looked at me like, "Who did the drums?" And I said, "I did them on the computer." And he's like, "I want to do the drums." And that made me really happy. So the riffs are my creations. The drums that you're going to hear on the recording are Eric's creations, his better version of what I made back in the demo days. And then the lyrics are stemmed upon all of us coming from playing shows and being in bands, 5, 6, years ago at the time, now 10 years ago. Eric and I started in 2002. I think Phil was playing locally too in his bands around 2000, 2002 or so.
Oh, wow.
So it was about, coming back to it and getting back into it, and how, the lyrics are self-explanatory, and how, it's not going to be the way it was when, you started off. It's going to be different, but you have to go forward and try to build upon it.
All right,
and
man.
It was really about, getting people into the pit and having a good time.
All right, man. Well, here it is. It's going down.
It's going down.
No matter how hard you try, it'll never be like it was before. But you can take what you have and build something better. Pick it up! Pick it up! Pick it up! Pick it up! Go! Whoa! Pick up your head, pick up your heart, pick up your feet, and then tell yourself to move. I've been around in circles, it felt like it's a waste. On that hurry up and wait, I'm still fighting to find my fate. I pick up my head, pick up my heart, pick up my feet, and then I tell myself to move. Oh, I try to keep pace, but I just can't wait. Meet me in the show. It's going down. It's going down. It's going down. We're tearing up the pit. It's going down. It's going down. It's going down. Pick it up. Pick it up.
right, that was It's Going Down. So, Daniel, can you tell me about the name Farooq and where you got it?
Yes, yes, I can. So, Phil, myself, and Eric are 80s babies, and we were all into wrestling as kids. WWF, Attitude Era, big time influence on us. So we were, looking for a wrestling influenced name because it's part of us. And so we went through tons of names and seeing which ones were taken and which ones just didn't make it. And there's a, Ric Flair theme name. Unfortunately, Figure 4 was already taken. That's an awesome band. If nobody's heard Figure 4, you need to get on that. They're older bands, but they're great, influential bands. We want to do Crossface. Unfortunately, Crossface was taken from a band up in, I think they're the Sacramento area, I believe.
Wow.
They're awesome dudes. Really good band. I think they're going to be playing here in Fresno sometime soon. Great guys. So we went through names, and Eric actually, as it got quiet, I remember him looking up and be like, "What about Farooq?" And we all kind of looked at each other like, "Farooq." And we liked it because it sounded aggressive,
Yeah.
But to us it sounds aggressive because we know about the wrestler Ron Simmons, aka Farooq, and his style,
Oh man, and when
so
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
When he was in the APA, he was amazing. That was my favorite time of him and Bradshaw. After the APA broke up, Bradshaw went downhill in my eyes. But Farooq and Bradshaw in the APA, that was just comedic relief at its very finest in the Attitude Era.
Yeah, what I liked about them, and it kind of encompassed us with Farooq, is he was aggressive and he was strong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you look at him back in the Nation of Domination, he was political,
Yeah.
But then if you look at him later on, he's doing funny stuff, and he likes to have fun, and he's making jokes too, But in all that, he always kept who he was. He was still always a strong, real dude,
Yeah.
that made his presence felt wherever he was. And so that encompassed us because we do make serious music, and we're very serious about, the music we make and making it the best we possibly can. However, we do like to joke around, and, we don't take ourselves too seriously. And, we have a sense of humor. So that worked for us. However, the spelling was an issue because we don't want to get into any trouble. Because you'll be surprised,
Yeah.
what kind of trouble you can get into. So we actually don't use any images of the wrestler for Ron Simmons, even though we're fans. And the name spelled for WWF/WWE is FAA, so there's two A's, ROOQ.
Oh, okay.
And so what we did is we went to the mighty World Wide Web and searched different spellings of the name. And the one that we decided on was FAROOQ, which actually means discerning truth from falsehood.
Really?
One of the definitions in a certain language, I forget which one off the top of my head. I believe one of the Middle Eastern languages means discerning truth from falsehood. And also, like, different spellings mean different things too, but pretty similar pronunciations. So it was good because all of the different definitions for it were part of our personality. So it just fit with us. And that's why you get the title for the album, The Truth, is discerning the truth from falsehood. And though we do have a sense of humor, when I write lyrics, it's usually coming from a serious place that I've experienced. And I'm trying to either share my story or kind of give encouragement to somebody going through something that I am.
All right, man. So you guys have you guys are fans of wrestling. So I have to ask, who is your favorite wrestler? Do you still watch wrestling? And was it the Attitude Era that got you into wrestling, or were you a fan in the 80s?
I believe all of us have our own stories. I know for Eric, him and I used to play wrestling games on a Nintendo 64, on his Nintendo 64 back in, 1999, 2000. We were in junior high and high school.
Yeah.
And it was the Attitude Era games, WrestleMania 2000 and WWF No Mercy, I think, were the just amazing games for Nintendo 64. Phil, I'm not sure when he got into it. He was, I know a lot of his favorites are from the Attitude Era. Myself, I've been into wrestling since I could remember. It was always on. My dad was into it. My grandpa would watch it. So I came from the old school, you know, but I watched through the Attitude Era all the way into the early 2000s, very, very closely. And then I kind of just followed it loosely up until recently, you know, with some of the old school guys coming back, and then with like the new guys that just were incredibly talented, like Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, and your guys that are up at the top now. Like, it got me back into it a lot. Now that I have, you know, grown-up TV and cable and DVR and stuff, I'm able to keep up.
Yeah,
but we all have our different stories. But the Attitude Era, I think, is what we all shared.
Yeah,
which is why, you know,
the Attitude Era.
The
Attitude Era was actually when wrestling became relevant in mainstream anything.
Yeah.
I loved wrestling. I watched wrestling way back in the day. I distinctly remember seeing the Austin Bret Hart match with my grandfather, just being being blown away by that match. And you know, I watched it heavily up until I believe it was like 2010 when I decided to, you know, it was done. I still try to listen to WrestleMania reviews and everything like that, because I mean, the Undertaker streak is something that it's synonymous with wrestling. And
that last year, man.
Yeah, it was brutal. I was hoping that they would just let him keep the streak, but I've actually since understood why. Apparently, most wrestlers will not win on their retirement matches, and but he's not retired, so for a whole year, it's nonsense, man. It boggles my mind. But
it's crazy, but it did get a lot of it did bring attention to it, which is the whole point of doing a lot of things like that, is, you know, to bring people in. It was a bummer. Like, I remember I went to Phil's house that day. I was working when the Undertaker lost the streak, and I was kind of following along on Instagram and stuff at work, and I went over there to his house for my lunch break, and him and a bunch of our friends were at his house watching the pay-per-view. And I walked in, and, you know, I usually walk in, and we're making jokes and laughing and yelling at each other and being violent. And I walk in, and it is just dead silent in there.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, oh, my God, what happened? And they're like, you didn't see it? And I was like, oh, and I checked. I was looking at Instagram, and I saw people posting stuff, but I thought they were joking, because I follow a bunch of people that like to do stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
And nope, it was real, and I was like bummed. Everybody was way bummed. And what actually brought that night up was Brian winning the championship brought everybody back, because they were not happy. Everybody was way salty about that.
For me, but the worst part was WrestleMania just happened to fall on my birthday last year. So I was sitting there enjoying myself and everything, and I was also keeping up on social media, and then all of a sudden I see that Taker lost. I was like, son of a bitch, you just ruined my night.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
A lot of people who don't watch wrestling or didn't, or maybe watched a little bit of wrestling at some point in their life, that touched a lot of them. It was funny how, like, you never knew who was affected by things like that, you know?
Yeah, it's a cultural phenomenon, and Taker, for being able to do that for 22 years, just he's awesome, man.
He's a phenom. He's a big fan. But his favorite wrestler, I don't think I answered your other question. I'm sorry.
No worries, man.
I don't know who everybody's favorite wrestler is, because I know Eric doesn't watch anymore. I know he was a big Undertaker fan, actually, because he was always trying to chokeslam me, because he's like 6'2", and I'm all of 5'6", maybe 5'7" if I'm lucky. Phil is a big Stone Cold Steve Austin guy. I know he hates The Rock, but I don't know who his current favorite is, because, you know, you jump around from, you know, watching different people. We all love the Iron Sheik, but not for wrestling reasons, for his antics, really. He's one of our his shoot interviews. The Iron Sheik shoot interviews are one of our go-tos when we're driving out of town to play.
Oh, really?
We listen to him. Yeah, we listen to him just cussing people out, and makes us happy inside.
I gotta
but
check that out, man. That sounds awesome.
myself, we all jump around. I really like, you know, the new guys, Punk and Brian. Dolph Ziggler is so slept on. That guy should be getting way more attention than he is. You know, Dragon Steamboat. I like a lot of the smaller guys because I could identify with them, you know?
Yeah. Well, my favorite wrestler of all time, hands down through any generation, was Andre the Giant, man.
Yeah, you know what? You can't wreck the Mount Rushmore without that man's face on it. He's truly a phenomenon and just way physically talented, you know?
Yeah,
So, good fall there.
he was amazing to watch. I really enjoyed him. His deep voice and that really thick French accent just made everything so much more fun for me. And
Yeah.
yeah, the legends of him drinking like barrels of beer a night and everything like that made it even better when I was coming up, you know.
And just being ridiculously strong, like how crazy strong he was.
Yeah, there was actually a story where Ultimate Warrior was running the ropes and he pissed off Andre, so the next time he came around, Andre just put his fist out and let Ultimate Warrior knock himself out.
Yeah, actually, I was going to tell you one of those stories that he had, because Ultimate Warrior was my favorite as a kid.
Yeah, he was awesome too.
Yeah. As a child with ADD, possibly, I know like anybody that would love Ultimate Warrior if you acted like him.
Yeah, no kidding.
But I know Andre was a savvy dude, and he didn't let anybody punk him in the ring, and he used to step on Warrior's hair and stuff, and do all kinds of dirty little tricks to keep him calm.
Yeah.
But no, he was a larger than life character. He was. I mean, you know, there are big guys that wrestle now, and a lot of those guys can't do nearly the things that Andre did, and Andre was way bigger than them, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it comes with the whole big guy thing, though. I mean, if you're big enough for long enough, you'll understand how to move with that. You can see like
Yeah.
Big Show's more athletic than most of the small guys. I mean, he's
Yeah.
incredible, and his longevity is outstanding too.
I
But
really wish they'd give him like a whole big title run where he just beats the crap out of everybody.
well, it's not without.
He's a giant.
It's
giant.
within the
He
realm
should be
of
that way.
reason. I mean, he's a heavyweight. He's a super heavyweight, and
Mhm.
it's within the realm of reason for him to be able to go and just annihilate people.
Yeah.
Now, people like Brock Lesnar that can actually lift his weight, I can understand possibly beating him. But people like
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio and CM Punk and the smaller guys, they have no chance in hell with him.
Whoa! You're talking about my heroes here. Be careful.
Hey, man, you know what's funny is I was so in love with the fact that Big Show used Rey Mysterio like a baseball bat. He was like tied to a gurney and like he like smacked him against the ring post. I'm telling you, man, Big Show, he's brutal, and they need to give him a huge push.
Yeah. Before he goes, they really need to give him his respect.
Yeah, and
Oh, man.
but yeah, like going back to that, it's the big guys. They just know how to do those things, and like the Samoans. Oh my goodness, the Samoans. They're good
Yeah.
guys too. They're great wrestlers.
So you an Uso fan?
I actually have not seen a legitimate match with the Usos. I know they're Rikishi's
Okay.
sons, and knowing that they came from Rikishi, I'm pretty sure they're good.
Yeah, no, they're no joke, man. They're no joke. They're very talented guys. Clean, exciting to watch. Everything you'd want in a tag team for sure.
Well, that's good to hear. I'm really hoping that they don't split them up. I mean, they're twins. There's not much that they can do outside of being the tag team.
Yeah, they better not.
All
I'd be
right,
mad.
all right, man. Let's get back to the music.
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah, that thing. Sorry.
Okay.
So the next song I want to play is called "The Breakthrough." Can you give me information on that one?
Yes, love Breakthrough. That one actually, I believe, has everybody's input, riff-wise and drum-wise on there. We all kind of bounce things back and forth. That was inspired by, lyric-wise, for me, being in support of my uncle, who's 15 years sober this month.
Congratulations,
And
man.
he is my uncle, is an amazing man and been an inspiration for me.
Next time you see him, give him like a fist bump or a high five or something like that. Just tell him that's amazing.
It is. He's my hero. I tell him all the time. Like, I'm really close to him now. Before, wasn't very close to him when he was messed up on drugs, but he turned it around and made it happen. And I very much look up to him and in support of his, recovery. And so he's been nice enough to let me come along with him to the meetings from time to time and his like retreats that they do. And I've got to meet a lot of recovering addicts and speak to them. And to me, drug and alcohol addiction are a serious thing. I abstain from all those things that I always have, and I'm going to forever. And so this song was kind of like written from their perspective of being trapped by their addiction and how these substances kind of promise a certain life to them that they don't actually have or they don't actually live. And kind of just, it was like a word of encouragement to them, and also, kind of letting them know that, it's okay to go through those adverse things if you come out of it, And it was more to pay respect to my uncle and all that he's done and accomplished in being a recovering addict, and also being a great support system for a lot of other recovering addicts. Like, it's a great man. So that's where the lyrics came from, and the riffs came from us liking heavy riffs.
What's your uncle's name, man?
He goes by the name of Johnny Moon.
Johnny?
Johnny Moon.
Johnny Moon.
He speaks all up and down this great state, and he's proud of who he is, and he's a great man.
All right, man.
He's a great man. Deserves great things.
Congratulations, Johnny. This one's for you. This is Breaking Through.
Yeah, him and Tia Stella.
Everything I thought that I wanted, and when I needed you, you left me for dead. No more. I will break through. I will break free. No more. I tasted freedom, and I'm not going back. A moment of silence. A moment of silence. For the addict that still suffering. Break through. Break free. Pull away and lose the worst part about you. Sever the ties that held you back. Escape the demons that stood in your way. Break
was Breakthrough. Daniel, you were
Breakthrough.
telling
Yes,
you were telling us about or you were telling me and a few times during the breaks you guys had a show on March 7th.
we did. It was our first one back in Fresno, actually, for a
What
while.
how was that, man? How was the crowd? How are you guys playing? You guys tight as ever right now?
Oh, we're stoked to just be playing back in Fresno. We love the Chinatown Youth Center. It's been great for local music and just music in general. Great volunteer staff there, run by awesome people. So we're happy just to be there. And we got to share the stage with our buddies in Leg Day from up in the 209, and Mara, also a crazy heavy band, and our local buddies Rampage. And so, crowd wasn't, it was all local, so the crowd wasn't like gigantic, but the people that were there to have fun. They all had the right attitudes. There was a lot of awesome mosh going on. They decided to make us play last, which was cool. Everybody was nice enough to stick around, and they're apparently there to stay having fun because they were moving through our whole set. It was really cool.
Nice, man. Nice.
We played on the floor, and we were fearing for our lives, and that's how it should be.
All right, man. So I have a question for you. When you're on stage and everything, what do you like to see more? Do you like to see the mosh pits, or do you like to see the circle pits, or like the hardcore dancing, or what gets you pumped up when you see it?
Any kind of movement gets me pumped up. We feed off the crowd big time. To me, the most fun thing to see is a big circle pit because you have everybody going in the same direction, and it's intense. It's fast. You see people holding on to each other, jumping off of things. The circle pits in the Chinatown Youth Center are like nothing else I've seen because there's a lot of things to jump off of. So you see these circle pit stage dive like combinations going on. I've seen people, our buddy Hector, jump off of a quarter pipe that was in the building.
Wow.
He had a cast on his arm, jumped off the quarter pipe, and landed on a bunch of people. It was amazing. We've seen a lot of cool things there. So I personally enjoy the circle pit. You got everybody going in the same direction. Everybody's kind of united. People fall, they're getting picked up. It's really kind of everything. But there is no feeling like seeing a pit open up, before a really heavy part.
Yeah.
And you got Phil leading in with a guitar part, and Eric kind of vamping in on the drums, and everybody's running back and forth, and it gets very intense. I personally like the circle pits. I think the guys like the mosh more.
See, when I was playing live, I enjoyed the mosh pits. I mean, it's just a clash of like bodies and people like that. It's just it's intense, especially if it's a really fast, aggressive song. It always made me. Go ahead.
Oh, for us, the mosh equals hardcore dancing. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like I don't think we've ever really had like a mosh pit during our songs. We have it's always hardcore dancing. There's always people flying everywhere and fists and legs and all kinds of chaos. It's awesome.
Yeah, something funny is the best and like most brutal mosh pit I've ever seen was actually in Madera. It was during KRZ or Manfest, or was it Hairstock? It was one of those. And what they did, they played Walk on the PA. And so people...
No.
Yes, and then people just started moshing and everything. It wasn't even for a band that was live. It was for Pantera being played over the PA. It was incredible.
If there's any band to mosh to playing over the PA, it's Pantera first.
Yeah,
and then maybe if you're feeling it, the Doobie Brothers, because What a Fool Believes just bangs so hard.
I'm sorry, man. But yeah, dude, Pantera, always, it just gave me goosebumps talking about that again, man. But yeah, it was incredible, and it's so nice to see people still appreciating them for what they've done. So shows. Do you have any coming up before you start getting into the recording of your second album?
Yes, tons. Actually, like we always are like, oh, we gotta chill on the shows. We got a show on the shows. We got an album, but we're fortunate enough to have people that tell us don't chill on shows. Please keep playing. And when people want to hear you, you don't want to say no, like, you know.
Yeah.
But we do have some coming up. I don't foresee us really stopping shows completely in order to do this album. We've done a lot of practicing ahead of time and pre-production to make sure that we don't really need to stop shows to record the album. Like, we're gonna get our drummer in. He's gonna knock these out on the click tracks within a couple weeks, you know.
Yeah.
So maybe there'll be a week or two span where we don't play shows, but that's not really out of the ordinary for us, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, the guys are always going to have their guitar set up and everything. So there's not going to be any breaks, hopefully. We're trying to actually find new audiences around this state. So there's going to be some more out-of-town stuff. But right now we have this Friday coming up, March 20th, at the Chinatown Youth Center. That's 901 F Street, with our San Jose brethren, Maya Over Eyes, who's been around forever. Crazy band. Have you heard them?
No, I haven't.
You got to get into them. A bunch of Chicano dudes playing awesome hardcore. It's heavy and real. And then also Domination from San Jose is coming down. They're great folks. We love them.
All right, I'll
and then
check
I
them
think
out too.
there's another band they're touring with called Dennis is Dead. I guess they're a big deal. I haven't heard of them, but you know, people are into them, so that's awesome.
All right,
and
man.
then we have the 21st is the same touring package at Jerry's Pizza. We're gonna tag along with them there too.
Oh, nice.
And one more I wanted to note. I know it's kind of far away. It's a month away, or actually not even a month, maybe 3 weeks. But Eludria, I don't know if you've heard them. If you haven't, you're sleeping too hard. Eludria from Fresno here is crazy good. I don't even want to call them a local band, even though they're from here, because they are not on the level of a local band. They're so artistry-wise, talent-wise, beyond anything here, you know?
Yeah.
They're coming back, and they're going to be playing the Chinatown Youth Center as well. And they're nice enough to ask us to play with them, and we gladly oblige. They're awesome dudes.
So, have you guys actually played in the Tulare, Visalia area?
We haven't got to Visalia. We know some bands out there in Visalia, but I guess they said that it's hard to put shows together out there for the hardcore bands. But we'll play anything, you know.
Yeah, I got you.
We just want to play, so we haven't, but we want to right now. Set it up. Come on, let's go.
There's actually been a few this past week. I wasn't able to make it because I actually had work, but there was one 2 nights ago that I was really interested in. So I'll see what's going on, man. If I hear of anything, I'll keep my head to the ground and let you know, man. I'd really like to see you guys.
We're super down. We love to play in that area. We have a lot of people that come from that area and drive around to go to shows, you know?
Yeah.
The dudes in Selfish Ways and Rise are like super down dudes that are driving all over the place for hardcore, you know? And then you have, what else do you got from down there?
There's
Catharsis.
You probably met my brother really while he was in there.
What was that?
You probably met my brother while.
Probably. We've had a couple shows with him.
His name's James.
James.
Yeah, James Damn it.
James sounds familiar.
What is going on? We're gonna have to break here. Hold on. We're gonna have to break here. Again.
Break through then.
All right. Sorry about that, brother. All right. So.
You good?
Yeah, you might have met my brother. His name's James. He played bass for Catharsis for a while after Bobby left, and I believe he switched to guitar before the first time he left, and then he came back and started playing bass for him again.
Talented dudes. Those guys can play.
Yeah, they're really good. I've only met them a handful of times, but they've always been real cool with me and everything. So I have nothing to say but good things about those guys.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said about talented bands that are like cool enough to actually give you compliments too, like, you know.
Yeah.
And those guys are one of those bands.
There's also Dawning of a Massacre. They're straight from Visalia. They're actually playing in Fresno with Mushroom Head. So
crazy.
Yeah, but So back to you. Sorry.
I'm good with that.
uh, all right. So you guys are recording the second album. You're in post production. Do you guys have like a time that you want to get this out? Is there a time that you're shooting for?
Yes,
Uh,
we're shooting for the summer.
this summer or next summer?
This summer.
Really?
We're
That's
yeah,
ambitious,
like
man.
we have everything put together. Like, the songs are done, which is the hard part, really. The place we're going to for the mix and master, he's incredibly good. We're gonna do all the editing and everything ourselves. Like, it's gonna take maybe 13 hours to do the drums max, and then maybe between 6 and 12 hours to do the guitars each. So that'll be another 24 hours, and then maybe another 6 to 12 for bass. Probably less for bass because that guy's ridiculous.
So are you guys going to be like quad tracking, double tracking the guitars, or
I don't believe so this time. We quad tracked the last one, and that took forever.
it's
So
incredible. I just started trying to figure out how to reamp because I'm a lazy bastard.
no, man, quad tracking is unnecessary now. There's a couple techniques like with stereo fattening and stuff,
Well,
to
yeah,
where
yeah,
you're
but
so like there's a lot of stuff we've heard that wasn't quad tracked that sounded great, and so like with the place we're sending it, I don't think quad tracking is necessary, and it just puts another 50 hours total on our time if we were going to do that.
yeah, I get that. Basically, when I'm recording guitar, I do a DI and then I do right off the amp. Um, I do the DI so that later on, if I'm not digging the distortion or the tone or anything like that, I can actually go and change it. And that
That's
right
awesome.
there, yeah, it helps so much. I mean, just the ability to do that makes it so much easier. It takes a whole bunch of weight off my mind.
Yeah, the quad. We're not going to go with that. I think DI is a great idea. If you have your right plugins, like DI is the way to go.
Yeah.
Phil's going to be handling that. All the engineering with that and the edit, and yeah, I don't see this summer being too out of this world, considering that we're all really really dialed in on the songs. We're playing them live. We played a couple of the new ones at the show March 7th, and got a really great reaction. I don't know if it was our songs or just that crowd was too good, but that they were into it and we were stoked on it. So we may be putting those into our set. It's hard to not put them in the set when you have the crowd reaction,
Yeah, I gotcha. All right.
But we
So,
do have we have a ton of songs, so it's hard to make a set because there's so many.
when you guys practice, how do you guys practice? Do you practice as a set, or do you practice like the songs that you're recording?
Uh, Depends on what we got coming up. We have 2 shows coming up, so our next practice we're going to we have a set that we usually put together, and it's like our base,
Yeah.
and we know our transitions. We have them memorized, and we really put the set list there just for a reference, but like we have it mostly memorized. And we transition the songs into each other, and we have interludes and stuff we put together. Not really interludes, kind of like intros to songs.
I gotcha.
So we have all that done, and usually when we practice, we run through it once. We assess how we are, and then if it needs another run through it too, we'll do it, or we'll kind of fine tune certain things, and then we go right back to the album and tightening that up. You can never be too tight when it comes to getting ready to record.
Yeah, that's an understatement, man. You have to be right on it when you're recording.
And the more we play these new songs, the more we want to add to them and change them up. So it makes for really cool songs, because they're very dynamic. The more we play with them.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's mostly our set. We practice the set as it is, and maybe a couple of songs to have in our pocket in case the crowd is yelling for more, which has happened once or twice, and that's really nice.
Nice.
Sometimes we don't have anything and we end up playing something old, and we're like, okay, sorry, like this March 7th that happened. So they're like, one more, and we're like, we don't have any more, and they're like, come on, they're like yelling songs,
Oh wow, that's
and I'm
awesome.
like, yeah, like we were stoked on it, but the guys were like, God, we have not practiced any of these songs for months because of the album, and we really just want to be really tight on the set we have, and we always want to respect the promoter's time, and if he says we have 25 minutes, we're going to play the hell out of 25 minutes, and then we're going to get out of the way because there's other things to do, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So we didn't have any pocket songs, and then I just kind of suggested a song that we had in our set before, and I was like, okay, guys, welcome to Farooq practice, and we played it, and it was okay. We did all right. The crowd made up for it if we did mess up a little bit, but we did okay,
All right.
thankfully.
All right, man. Well, the last song that I want to play from you guys is called "Owned." Can you tell me about
Yeah.
that and how it came about?
This is the riffs were the jam session between Eric and Phil, mostly, and I got me a little text message with some sound samples, and I was just banging my head to the low quality cell phone recording. And the lyrics are about consumerism and how advertising and mainstream media kind of have a lot of people under control, and they can make you do anything they want to, and it's all about them getting your attention and then getting your money and nothing else. And it was kind of a cautionary tale of what to watch out for and what a lot of big corporations are trying to do. They're trying to control people's brains, in my opinion. And I've seen it, and I understand it, and I don't like it, so I yell about it in a song.
All right,
And
man.
a little nerd tip if you want. This song, when we were tracking vocals, I one-taked it, and it was crazy, and it was okay, and still liked that it was one take, so we kept that one take. So there's no punch-ins or anything. This is a one-take Jake on this one.
That's awesome, man. And with that, this is called "Owned."
I will not be the prey. Eyes wide open. This has always been survival of the fittest. That's why they aim to fatten you up, so you can no longer hold your own weight. And you have to give up. You're being corralled, held by your eyes and ears. I'm captive audience, controlled by lies and fear. It's lies and fear. What you don't understand is they're holding you hostage and you're being taught to love it. We've been given the blueprint for destruction. Now the consumers are consumed by consumption as they take advantage of their captive audience. They hesitate to celebrate the diligent, viewed as militant, before they reward and monetize the ignorant. You're being misinformed. You're being misdirected, misinformed, as they take advantage, and you learn to love it. Everything you do every day just turns into a trap. They know your weakness, and they exploit it as they take advantage. They're gunning for you, shooting at
That was owned. All right, Daniel. Nearing the end of this interview. Can you give us the shows one more time so that people, if they want to see you, know where to see you?
All right. Friday, March 20th at the CYC in Fresno, 901 F Street, with My Over Eyes Domination. Dennis is dead, and there's somebody else on it, but I can't remember right now. I'm so sorry. And then Saturday, March 21st, same package. My Over Eyes Domination. Dennis is dead. Farooq, Jerry's Pizza in the Dirty Basement. We love that place. Also, Saturday, April 11th, with the mighty Eludria and select locals as well. That one's going to be a banger. Like, if you heard Eludria, you're going to be there. And if you haven't heard them, you need to be there. Incredibly talented dudes, the sweetest guys on earth, all give amazing hugs. Like, yeah, Eludria for vice president. Phil for president, Eludria for vice president. Love them.
All right, man. And sorry.
And sometime soon in Visalia or Tulare, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had a brain fart. Yeah. So your web presence. How can people get a hold of you?
Ooh, what do you want to do? Twitter, Instagram, the Vine. We do it for the Vine. Facebook. We got it all. Everything. If you want to just Google search, if you want to be extra lazy or efficient, as I say, you go to Google search. You put in the words Farooq, Farooq, Mosh, Mosh, as one or two words. I suggest one word, Farooq Mosh, and you're going to find everything right there. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram are all Farooq Mosh, one word, Sarooq Mosh. And then YouTube is Farooq the Band, all one word. But if you searched Farooq Mosh, one word, in YouTube, you'd find us. You'd find our YouTube page that has our official music video and a bunch of other stupid shit we do. And then you could find other people's video that they put up of us playing around the state and even in Mexico. We had a couple shows there.
Nice.
So there's some cool live footage of us playing on the stage over there in Tijuana.
All right,
for
man.
all of our Hispanic brothers and sisters.
All right. So during the break, you were telling me that you had released your own EP. Don't want to take away from Farooq, but can you tell me a little bit about that and what inspired that?
Yes, we won't take too much from Farooq, but they like to share. It's a hip hop EP. I actually got into hip hop. Let's go back to Farooq. Freestyling with our drummer Eric when we were in high school. So all of us, even though we play heavy music, we all love hip hop, R&B, gangster rap, everything. Usually we're not even listening to a lot of metal or hardcore when we're driving together. We're listening to old 90s R&B and singing all sexy and stuff. For the most part, Eric's got an incredible singing voice. Shout out to him. And Pappy knows all the Mac Dre songs. Matt. Matt knows all the Mac Dre songs. And Brandon knows all the Waka Flocka Flame songs. So we all have those influences. This was a solo thing I did that I've been working on for years and years and years. I had this really talented guitarist and good friend of mine, Arthur Bueno, come in and play guitar and bass with live. We wrote the instrumentals together with his guitar and bass parts. I set up the drums and keyboards, wrote lyrics to it, told my stories, mixed and mastered the whole thing by myself. And my good friends at Hypergiant Records, Caden and Heather, were nice enough to sign me a couple of years ago. And so they put this out to me on digital and cassette. And then we're working on CDs soon, too. So whatever way you need it, you got it.
Oh, wow.
At hypergiantrecords.com. It's called On the Clock, and I'm very proud of it. And we're all stoked on it. And there'll be more from that. If you want to hear more, I'd be glad to come on back to the show, and we could talk about it some more, and we could talk about wrestling some more, too.
Yeah, brother. Yeah, we can set that up after we wrap this show up, and we can we can talk about that. That's actually really interesting. I'm really
appreciate it.
Yeah, it's intriguing like no other, man. All right,
Thank
man.
you.
Well, yeah, I want to thank you very much for your time. It's actually
Dude, thank you. You're awesome.
Thank you very much. I try. I really do.
You succeed.
Yeah, it's been great talking to you. Thank you for your time and your energy put into this and your support. And
Appreciate it.
yeah, you and the guys from Farooq have open invitation. If you guys ever want to come back, when you release your record, I really want to be contacted, and we can do an interview, an update, or release a song or play a single or something like that. But you have an open invitation to come back and talk whenever you guys want to.
That means a lot to us, man. Farooq loves you, baby. You'll see our stickers all over town. We hope to get out to your area soon, yeah. So stay in contact with us whenever you feel like it. Because we like that area. It's just that we don't have booking contact there. We have booking contact in Fresno and Bakersfield, and in between, nothing. So whoever wants to book us, hit us up. We're not expensive. We bring the party. We don't fart too much. We have fun,
All right, man. Well, like I said, thank you very much. You've been awesome. It's been a blast, and I want updates. All right, man.
You got it.
All right, man. Later, brother.
Thank you. You have a good one.
So, what did you think of the name? Did you expect it to mean truth? I didn't. I thought it was just the wrestler's name. I thought it was something made up by the WWE. But it means truth. Who knew, right? Nice little tidbit to have, pull out every once in a while, show off, and then put it back in your brain. It was really, really fun talking to Daniel. I'm really, really excited to see what Farooq has to offer in the future, and I really want to see them live. I want to see all these bands live, but having a real person job makes it very difficult, so hopefully I can see them sooner rather than later. Check Farooq out on Facebook. When you do, tell them that you heard the interview here at the Local Music Revolution. Tell them they are awesome and become a fan, because that's what you do. That's the whole point of this. Please do that. It will mean the world to everybody involved. And don't forget to check out my sites. Mainly thelocalmusicrevolution.wordpress.com. That's where all of these episodes will be posted, and all of the ideas for the Local Music Revolution will be, starting to roll out on that WordPress. Also, I am on iTunes, so comment, rate, subscribe, add, and all of those good things, because, that helps out the rankings, and yeah, we want good rankings. Also, you can go to facebook.com/thelocalmusicrevolution, talk directly to the screen, and I will be on the other side giving you information and cracking jokes and all of that good stuff, because that's the way I do. But seriously, thank you very much for all of your support. I do read the comments. I do answer as much as I can, and I do appreciate everybody's help and effort, and everyone that's sent good vibes into this project. I really, really appreciate it. I can't do it without you guys. Right now, I can't do it without the bands that are behind me, and I cannot wait to show everybody what these bands are and how awesome they are. So thank you again. Until next time, this is the Local Music Revolution. I am Ogre. You are my wonderful audience. Take care. Be good.